I'm hoping you found this video because you or someone you know is trying to get sober and or at least get off opiates, and you're not really sure how, or you've heard all the horror stories about methadone and Suboxone and all these different ways of getting off opiates. So here's the truth about methadone, uh, how I got sober, and why I lost trust / faith in our medical system. So a lot of people hear crazy stories about methadone and like the methadone clinics, and a lot of them are true. But like anything, if you do it right, you can make it work. Not anything, but like a lot of things, if you do it right, you can make it work for you. And there's multiple ways of getting sober or getting off opiates, and a lot of them work for different people. Everybody's different. There's not one size fits all. Like I tried the rehab thing, and rehab works for people that are willing to put in the work, but I'm super ADD and I needed to get right back to life, or I wanted to get right back to life. So going to rehab for 30 days, first of all, 30 days in rehab just isn't enough. Bottom line, you're not only trying to get off of whatever chemical you're hooked to, you're trying to rebuild your habits of life. And what I mean by that is, normal people, they get up in the morning, they make a cup of coffee, they start getting their day going, get their kids up, whatever, get dressed, take a shower, get ready for work. Addicts, first thing when they get up in the morning is either I need to get high or I need to find some drugs. Like I need to get a hold of my dealer, I need to find some money. Like your whole routine is totally different. So not only are you trying to get away from these chemical hooks, you're trying to get back to like functioning relatively normal. And you're not going to do that within 30 days. If you're going to do a rehab, I suggest at a minimum 90 days, if not longer. Now, the reason why it didn't work for me personally was because I wanted a quick fix. Like everything in my life, I want like the quick reward. And that's just not the case. You have to put in the time. You have to work the program, and it's a lot, and it works for a lot of people, and a lot of people find community in it, and it's great, and it helps out a lot of people. My issue was I had a business and I wanted to get back to work like almost immediately. So I needed something that I could take and start putting the pieces back together. Now, by this time, I'd already closed my business, so it was really hard for me knowing that in the dark of night, my business got closed and all of my stuff got put into storage, and I was just kind of forgotten in the ether, and like my career and all that just felt like it was just slipping through my fingers. So I used methadone because I could take it and start, stay away from heroin and kind of start putting the pieces back together. And what I mean by that is like getting back to like working a normal job and like just functioning how I normally did. I still was getting up at 4:30 in the morning and having to go to the methadone clinic to get my drugs. So that routine was still sort of the same, considering that's what I was doing as an addict, but it was regulated. And sort of. So that's why I want to tell you the truth about this whole deal, right? this video might be long and I might bounce around. There might be more parts to this because I'm going to forget a lot of things. I wish I had made these videos when they were happening at the time and everything was fresh in my head and like these events were playing out and like what I was experiencing. So I'm going to start where like I sort of remember everything and kind of just work from there. Like I said, I'll do other videos addressing a lot of this. So I had used Suboxone like most addicts. Your doctor will, or you can get a prescription for Suboxone. The only issue is there's a couple of issues. One, the same doctor that was prescribing me a month's supply of Vicodins for $20 is now the same doctor who is giving me a 30-day supply of Suboxones for $500. So there's one issue. Do with you will. But they leave it up to the addict to take the proper dosage and stuff like that. Now, there are clinics like the methadone clinic. I know there was an option to use Suboxone, Subutex, or methadone. I don't know why I decided on methadone, to be honest with you. I think because I'd already tried the other ones, and I don't remember why I stuck with the methadone. But so the way the methadone clinics are supposed to work, right, is you sign up, they try to get you to stay for a minimum of 2 years. And I told them that is not happening. I want to be off of this in 1 year. 1 year, I want to be completely off of this. I want my life back. So the way it's supposed to work is you sign up and they kind of gauge like how much you were using before, or, using your drug of choice, whether fentanyl or, hydrocodone, whatever it is. And they'll give you a dose to see if it was enough, and obviously every addict is like, no, it wasn't enough. I need more. It's because you're still trying to chase that high. I think I started off at like 200 milligrams when I first started. And I told them I want to taper down. Over this year, I want to taper down all the way to, I think it was like 10 milligrams or 5 milligrams in the very end. And they were like, that's too fast. It's too fast. You need to be on it for like 2 years. And I'm kind of like, I think I'll be all right. Like, why are you guys trying so hard to get me on this longer? Well, the longer I was there, the more I kind of got it. So this place opened back in like the 80s. I'm not going to name the place. It's in Riverside. I think between Riverside and San Bernardino off the 91 freeway. Somewhere in that area, you can put the pieces together. But it had been open since like the 80s. And there was people there that had been going to this same clinic since the day it opened. And that was concerning. I was like, what the heck is going on here? Why are these people still on this drug this long? And as people just don't, I think people just need that crutch longer than or I don't know. Honestly, I'm not sure. Maybe they just kept relapsing or just like this was their life now. And that's where this stereotype of these methadonians comes from. You talk to anybody from like New York or anything like that, and they laugh at the methadonians standing around waiting for their methadone in the morning. And I get it. But if you work it, make it work for you and say, I'm 100% getting off this stuff as soon as I can, it can work. So what I did was, I think every month we went down, I want to say maybe I went down like 50 milligrams. I went from like 200 to like 150. And then like we just slowly tapered 10 milligrams like every couple of weeks, right? And they're supposed to drug test you they do drug test you every couple of weeks to make sure you're not using. And if you do get caught with a dirty test, you're supposed to get kicked out of the program, but that never happens. So many people in there would get busted and it would be like this couple day ordeal. You're out of the program. Okay, we'll give you another chance. It seemed like they were more concerned with keeping customers for 30 years than they were actually helping people recover from addiction. So I kind of saw that early on, talking to people in line, waiting for our dose every day, talking to people in line, they just all, like, this was life now. This is part of their lives now, with showing up at the methadone clinic at 5 a.m. and getting their little shot of methadone and getting on with it. And most of the people that were there were still using. They were selling dope in line, and oh man. So now I don't know if this is all clinics. I know this is the clinic that I went to. But it can work for you, right? So if you put your head down and say, I'm not going to stay on this stuff the rest of my life, I'm not going to be one of those methadone zombies, you 100% can taper off this stuff in a healthy manner and get on with your life. So that's what I did. So I was tapering over this next year, and one of my buddies had given me a job. He owned a construction company, and he needed some help. So I was like, I'm going to kind of backpedal here. Addicts are always, especially opiate addicts, are always afraid of the withdrawals. The withdrawals are awful. It's because we're sick. We are so malnourished, and like, we've been surviving on drugs mostly, and very little food, and what little food we're eating isn't the best food. And you're super, super sick when you decide to get sober. So using methadone, it allowed me to get healthy without having to experience severe withdrawal. So I started going to the gym all the time. Every day I was waking up, I'd go to the clinic, and then I would go to the gym. This is pre me starting to work for my buddy. Wake up and I'd go to the gym and I'd work out. I started training jiu-jitsu at this time too. So like, I was in way better physical health. And I think if you can build yourself into way better physical health, get your health up, get your diet right, start exercising, when you go to get off the methadone or the Subutex or Suboxone or whatever you're using over this time, if you can get your body healthy, the withdrawal from getting off of that isn't going to be nearly as bad. Mostly like low energy is what you're going to feel. You're going to feel groggy. You're just not going to feel like doing much. And it's tough. It's tough. I'm not telling you it's easy. There's no easy way to get off these damn drugs. I'm telling you that right now. It's all going to be hard. So if you're worried that you've heard these horror stories about Suboxones are harder to kick than, fentanyl, or methadone's harder to get off of than, whatever. I've heard stories about methadone, it gets into your bones and it gets into your fat, and it takes longer to leave your system, so you withdraw longer. It's easier just to kick, whatever. Okay, they all suck. None of it's easy. None of it's going to be easy. I'm telling you right now, it's all going to suck. But you have to want to get sober. You have to fight through the suck. Bottom line. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There's no easy way out. We got ourselves into this mess. We got to suck it up and get ourselves out of this mess. So if you are someone who's trying to get sober, and so the rehab thing would work, right? If I stayed there for 90 days and they had like a good gym and a good diet program, and you stay there for that 90 days and you do the exact same thing, you start exercising, you find some faith. Faith helps a lot. And that was one thing I was super resistant to at the time, was faith. The number one thing in the 12-step program is surrendering to a higher power. And at the time I was this really raw atheist, and I was like, there's no higher power that I feel like I can surrender to, blah, whatever. That's probably why it didn't work for me. So if you can get into a good rehab that, has a good gym, and you can get your physical health up over that 90 days, 120 days, and you can kind of start getting back into a healthier routine of life, is really the the most crucial thing, is going from being a drug fiend to like another to now a functioning member of society again. And it's hard. It's really hard. And getting your physical health up is one of the most important things, I think, or for sure one of the most important things when you're trying to kick any of these drugs. That's why, I look back on withdrawal, and I've had flus that were worse than withdrawal. I think the biggest issue with withdrawal and why it seems so much worse, for one, you're sick. I mean, like, weak, unhealthy, malnourished, sick. That's one. Two, in the back of your head, you know that if I just go spend $10, I can make all this go away. And with the flu, you can't. The flu, you're like, I'm sick. I gotta ride this out. Not a whole lot I can do about it till it runs its course. And another thing with opiate addiction is in order for your body to stay alive, as you raise your opiate levels in your brain, your body also is raising norepinephrine, so adrenaline. I'm pretty sure it's called norepinephrine. Adrenaline. So when you take all those opiates away, your adrenaline is up here. And forget about sleep. For the first 2 years of not being on opiates, I slept 3 or 4 hours a night. It took a long time for me to get to a normal sleep schedule. Normal sleeping hours. I still don't sleep much. But it's what happens, man. We did this to ourselves. So don't be afraid to use methadone to get sober. That's basically what the whole point of this video was. Is you can use it responsibly, but do that. Go there, get your shot. Don't make friends with anybody in line. Go there, get your, not like a IV shot, but it's like a shot of fluid. It's a liquid, like a pink liquid. Go there, get your dose, go to work, go to the gym, start rebuilding your life off this drug. It sucks that the doctor got me on it, then I went to the street drugs, and then I had to come right back to the doctor. So now this is where I lost faith in the medical system. It was super cheap to turn me into an addict, but it was really expensive going through the medical system to get me sober. And I can't help but feel that it's just a big racket. They flooded the market with painkillers, and then when they cracked down on the doctors for over prescribing painkillers, the street was already flooded with heroin because of the war in Afghanistan. All of our troops are over there. Not all of our troops. A lot of our troops are over there guarding poppy fields. 98% of the country's heroin came from Afghanistan. Do with that information what you will. If you've ever looked into Freeway Rick Ross, the real Freeway Rick Ross, and the cocaine CIA debacle back in the 80s, you kind of can start putting the pieces together and kind of see what happened and how they turned a whole generation of us into addicts. So I lost faith in the medical system. I no longer felt like that they were there to help. It almost felt like I'm just another drug dealer. In fact, my drug dealers probably had more ethics than most of my doctors I had to deal with. And that was another thing with the methadone clinic. Oh man, this video has already gone 20 minutes. I'm gonna cut this video here. If there's a lot of stuff I didn't touch on, I can go on for hours. If you have any questions or anything I didn't address in this, I hope you found this video because you are trying to get sober, or you have a family member or somebody that's trying to get sober. So if you have any questions, please reach out to me so I can address them. I don't want to miss, I don't want to miss anything, and I'm really here trying to help people that were in the same position as me. So please reach out, either DM me on Instagram or write in the comments, and just ask me a question that I haven't touched on yet. All right, I'm gonna cut this video here and maybe do another one tomorrow.